Good morning, children. Hope you all are safe. In the previous class, we learned to define motion. The change in position of an object is called motion. And then we learned that push or pull or both are involved in motion. And then we learned that motion can change the direction of an object, change its position. It can also change the shape and size of the object. In today's lesson, we will learn about how things move from unit to force and motion. Take a magnet, and when you bring the magnet near coins, what happens? The magnetic force in the magnet pulls the coins towards itself. You can even use nails. The magnetic force pulls the coins towards itself. When you drop a ball from a height, due to the gravitational force, the ball comes down. The ball is pulled down. You can take a comb or a plastic scale and rub it on your hair. When you rub it, it develops electrostatic force. And then when you bring few pieces of paper near it, it attracts the paper toward itself. Roll a ball gently on the floor. The ball starts moving due to muscular force, and after some time it stops moving due to frictional force. Then you can take Play-Doh. Play-Doh, you can mold it into different shapes with the muscular force. The Play-Doh changes shapes due to muscular force. Above forces, which force is different from the others and why? The friction force is different from the others as it is a contact force. Then, how are these forces different? Which of the above forces act from a distance? What are they called as? Then, which one needs a surface to be in contact? Look at this picture. Muscular and friction forces are contact forces as they need a surface to be in contact to act. And gravitational force, magnetic force and electrostatic force are non-contact forces. They can act from a distance. What are the forces that we learned now? Contact forces and non-contact forces. In contact forces, we will have frictional force and muscular force. In non-contact forces, we have magnetic force, electrostatic force, the one where we use the comb to pick the papers, then the gravitational force. These are the types of forces we will learn today. Then, types of forces, contact forces and non-contact forces. Contact forces, we have muscular and frictional. Forces experienced by bodies when they are in physical contact with each other are called as contact forces. And we learnt about people pushing a box, and then the friction, motion is controlled by the friction. Then we have non-contact forces, forces experienced by bodies even if they are not in physical contact with each other. See in this picture, A person is trying to push a box on the floor, but it isn't smooth. What's happening? The friction acts on the two things. Friction is a force that acts when two things are in contact, and it acts in the opposite direction of the object, so it stops moving objects. Here we see people rolling balls. One ball is heavier or bigger and the other one is smaller. What do you think? Do you think heavier ball cover the same distance as the smaller one? No, the bigger or the heavier ball will stop faster as the friction increases with the mass of the object and the area of contact between the surfaces. Friction always bad, or is it good? When we walk, friction helps to hold the feet to the ground. Friction is more on rough surfaces and it holds the feet or the shoe firmly to the ground. But when you walk on wet surfaces, the friction is less and you tend to slip and fall easily on wet surfaces. Example for what can happen if we do not have friction wherever we need it. This is a road covered with snow and the car has lost control. It's sliding on the road as the friction is very less. So far we learnt about forces, contact forces and non-contact forces. The forces are based on their contact. Then we have forces based on agencies, animate factors and inanimate factors. When we push a book on the table, it moves. When we kick a ball, it moves. When an animal, bullock or a horse pulls the cart moves. In our daily life, we draw water from the well. It is a person drawing the water. So, in all these things, a person or an animal is involved in the motion, and so they are called as animate factors. Motion occurs when the object is pulled or pushed by an agency. Then they are called as animate factors. In tall grasses dancing on the field, or sometimes logs of wood floating on the river. What makes the logs move? What makes the river water? And then what makes the grass move? The air, the wind that blows. So sometimes the factors can also be inanimate agencies like these. In today's lesson, we learnt that friction is a contact force, and we compared friction with other type of non-contact forces, and then we also understood that forces are push or pull, which can be done by an animate or an inanimate agency or factor. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Thank you, children.